Hey guys, welcome back to the Hands-On channel. I just wanted to run you through the process that we've kind of had to create on the fly here to put this Hardie board on effectively. And you can see I've already got the bottom board on. I'm getting ready to put the next one on. And of course the bottom board is the hardest one to hang because you can't use the gecko clamps and you have to, really level it and really make sure everything's right. But one thing you have to do is, like over here, you can see there's a furring strip here, and this it was already here. We're reusing the same one that was here. They at least got that right, and it looks like they used about a 1/4 inch furring strip, maybe 1/2 inch. But basically what that's for is so that when that very bottom board needs to overlap, needs to repeat the same pattern like this. You see how that overlaps? It's supposed to mimic that as it goes down. So it wouldn't look right if it just ended flat like that. It wouldn't look right. So that's what that bottom board is for. So you have to have that. That's your first step. Get your clamp set up, and I recommend that if you're going to do a lot of this lap board siding, even one house worth, spend the $50 and buy a pair of these gecko clamps. I've got another video where I talk more about them, but these things are fantastic. Run them up to the bottom of the board. Make sure you're all the way up there. And so next up, grab our next piece. Right now I'm just fitting it. I'm not actually gonna install it just yet. Making sure that we got it cut right. And all these lines, this is where we have to, that's our furring, our studs basically that I have to screw into. Now what I decided to do is I'm doing every 16 inches on these, and that seems to be plenty. Because by the time you do 16 inches, that sucks that thing in nice. So I'm looking at the ends here. That gap's good, and that gap's good. So the next step, I've been taking some PL 375. It's a Loctite product. And we're not sponsored by Loctite. It's just they happen to make pretty good stuff. And so what I'm doing is on the bottom edge, I'm going to put I don't want to put it all the way across because I have to be able to get my clamps up into the next piece. So I'm putting a little on the end, a little in the middle, and a little down here on this other end. So we'll squirt that up right quick. And when we come back, I'll be ready to stick that piece up and install it. And again, you can see I've got that PL 375 on the bottom. Any kind of construction grade adhesive would probably work. I wouldn't recommend liquid nails though, at least not the original stuff. It's just not, I've never been that impressed with it. Now maybe they're newer products. I see they've got a lot of new formulas now, so maybe some of those are good. And I'm looking at my two ends here, make sure my gaps are about the same. Okay, that looks good. So now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to check the level right quick before I put any screws in. We're right on the money. I like that. So, okay, so since I'm putting them every 16 inches, I know I'll want one there at the end, one there, one there. So I can put one right in the middle there. And you got to stay up high enough so that your next board covers up that's the idea, covers up the hole that you're making here. Now I'm countersinking this. And you go through a lot of these countersinks if you're going to do this process on Hardie board. And now once that countersink's done, I have to switch over to a larger bit. And the reason I have to switch to a larger bit is because if I just try to run the screw in, it'll hit the plastic stud, and if it doesn't go in at the same time, it pushes the board way out. So you want to drill this hole out so that it doesn't actually bite into the Hardie board. We're trying to get it to bite in to the plastic and slide through the Hardie board. So I have started using my impact driver. If you're going to do this, be very careful. It's probably safer to use your clutch and your drill, but it's quicker to do it this way. Okay, and that's about it. I'm not going crazy with it, and if it clicks, that's fine, but don't sit there and go, you know, make it click like crazy. That's as far as I want to go with that one, because you can strip them out. That's not cool. So let's move on to this one here, since I'm right in front of it. Checking my gaps one last time and my level. That's where she stays. This is what's the finicky part, is I have to keep changing this bit back and forth. That sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and countersink several of these. Staying close to the top, but not so close that, you know, you don't want to get too close, because then you can break the edge off. So I'm going about 3/4 of an inch down is what I'm trying to do. Now we're ready to screw this thing on. If you've seen my other video on these gecko clamps, I talked about the importance of pushing this in and making sure everything stays level as you're going. And also not putting any bottom screws or nails in until you've done, you know, so if I was to nail this in right now, it would be difficult for me to get this gecko clamp to move up into the slot, because it'd be so tight underneath there. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And another little trick I've learned is if it is digging in, even though I've drilled it, but watch it, it'll probably push out a little right here. Yep, see that? If it's doing that, put it in reverse, and you can just use the drill or the screw in reverse, and it'll clean that hole out. Yeah, I didn't get one that time. Something happened. I didn't get a stud there. That's the kind of stuff you run across all the time. If you just hit the edge of that little, the plastic strap that's in the wall, you'll miss it, or sometimes you'll strip it out. You have to be careful. Like that one, I'm not sure that didn't feel solid. I think I went too steep that time. Let me go about right there. There we go. That's better. But yeah, I'm being real easy with this tool here, because it definitely has the power to blow right through the Hardie board and strip your plastic studs out. Here's a little shot here if you want to know the type of screws I'm using, and I'll take a picture of the box. You can see. I really like these Torx head. They stay on the bit a lot better, and you know, they're not like Phillips head that fall off after a few uses. So one last screw here on this end. Okay, good. That one felt nice and solid. And one last screw here. Okay. And again, you don't want to go too hard in with them, because you can push this foam in, you can squish the foam and it'll make a wave in your board, and you don't want that. Okay, so I got all my screws in, my glue is on. Good time to check if any squished out. Nothing to worry about, that's for sure. So next up, we grab our clamp. I have to move away from the glue a little. And sometimes they're just tough because they're in there tight. Ouch. Pinched me right on camera after I've been talking how good you guys are. Gecko clamp. Okay, and see, because I've got my next one, I'm gonna have to cut this board, I'm gonna have to notch it. I'm not gonna be able to put my clamp here. I'm gonna have to move it down probably to the end, like that. Make sure you're all the way at the top. I can't stress that enough. I've put on an entire board before and then realized later that I was down on one side or the other. And it might only be a 1/4 inch difference, but over a long span, that's a lot. That's not a big deal, but ouch. Second time that thing's pinched me. Okay, all the way there. Damn, that hurt. Okay, so I got to get this next board marked out and trimmed, but that's basically it. This is how we're doing it. And I'm trying to get it going quick enough so that before the glue dries, I can smash that bottom in and get it to have that added little extra bit of stickum. So basically what I'm going to do now that I have my line, I'm going to hold my next board up there. I'll kind of do a quick demo. My wife has already marked some lines on here, approximately where it's going to go. But I should be able to manipulate these geckos just enough. To get me past them, like that. Now clearly, I can't push it back into the wall because I've got to notch this out. But now what I should be able to do is get a good approximation of how deep I need to cut that down in there to notch that in. So anyways, guys, that's what I'm gonna be working on for the next probably 20 minutes or so. Get this board cut out and hopefully get it installed here. Moving on to this smaller section. This part here will get easier for me because it's all wood in there, so I'll be able to use nails all the way up on that thing. So, and you can see we went back through with the tight seal, the tight window flashing seal, they call it. Good stuff. So, all right, guys, appreciate tuning in, and we'll come back here a little later with some more updates.